What's going down, everybody? It's Hybrid. It's been a little bit, only because I've been busy. I can't do everything with the room and make videos and answer questions. So I apologize for not being on the channel for a little bit, but it's only in a good way because I have been making videos along the way over the last 2 weeks, having taken using my time to actually finish when I need to finish in the room. So I'm about to drop a lot of videos all at once when I get those videos put together. But this video specifically is dedicated to the use of electricity. And here we have a kilowatt P3 meter. These things used to be expensive, guys. I've had one of these for a while. I think every room should have one of these. Even if you don't have your own medical grow, I think you should still own one of these, only because you're able to save energy around the house. You would be shocked at how much energy that you consume just by having a phone charger plugged in all the time, or having your entertainment system plugged in all the time. Everybody has a strip on their wall. I can't show you that one. It's got too much personal shit on it. But just a power strip, right? So you have there's all kinds. There's 10s, there's 6, there's 8s. Every one of them has a switch. Let's say your high-def TV, your video game player, maybe a cell phone charger to any other kind of game systems or battery chargers, DVD players, and all kinds of your DVR, digital cable boxes. All this stuff in the off position could possibly consume 100 watts. Now, if you had hit the switch when you're done watching this shit, because all this stuff should have built-in memory. I know my shit does, because I have high-def televisions, and I have high-def boxes as well. So if walking by my entertainment system, I have the button on the fly, and just when I'm done for the day, turn it off at the evening, and it stays off until I come in to watch more TV or a movie or something, and then I flip it back on, and all the equipment throws itself back in standby mode. The TV throws itself in either standby mode or in the off position, depending on how I shut it off. So my TV has a sleep mode, and it also has an off mode, so it's able to boot with the internet and Netflix and digital cable and things like that, wireless cable. We do everything's wireless in my house. So even my fucking surveillance system is wireless. So these are the things I'm talking about. Being able to tell where you're using energy is crucial, and where you're inefficient and efficient at using specific key pieces of equipment. And let's take this, and it also allows you to dial in equipment. It also allows you I would say the common grow, personal medical grow, is operating off of 120 volts. That's that right there. And this thing is accurate as fuck, by the way. So there's no argument there. So the device that is plugged in here is not in a sleep mode, it's in an off mode. This thing doesn't have a sleep mode. I wish it did. So now I'm going to have to go in here and route a couple wires basically hotwire this thing to do what I want. So because it doesn't have a sleep mode. What I mean by that, when I turn this unit on and it kicks on, we're pulling 65 watts. Well, now that the compressor's on, we're pulling 500 watts. So let's hit the button in the background. Now we'll completely shut off the power. Okay, power is off completely. Even the P3 is not receiving any electricity. So let's hit the power back on. Power the unit back up. You can see from the consumption, let's look at the power grid here. We're still at just roughly under a watt. So it's not in a sleep mode. it's in an off mode. So this doesn't have a sleep mode. So I can't hook a controller, a thermostat up to this. I can't hook a hygrometer controller up to this. I can't really do that. So I have to actually internally go in here and adjust it so where I can hook up additional pieces of controllers. So this unit will operate how I want to. Now most people are not going to freaking finagle with things like that unless they know how. In this case, I do know what to go in here and alter, but it's different for every piece of equipment too. So don't just go in here and start chopping and redoing wires thinking you know what you're doing. You could possibly start a fire. So I don't advise anybody to do that. But now this may work for some people that don't care about energy consumption, and it does. What this tells me is that this unit is only going to operate when it's always on. So let's, without the compressor running, okay, let's see this. In order for this device to be working for me, it always has to stay just like this. The fan always has to stay spinning. So with that said, usually fans are about 60 watts, 50, 60 watts. So this is a squirrel cage fan, so it consumes slightly more. We're at 60.2 watts roughly, and it will always, no matter what, be drawing 60 watts, even if the compressor is not on. So what that means is, this is a dehumidifier. If the compressor is not on, it's not dehumidifying. But at the same time, it's always spinning the fan. Now, if that fan isn't moving the leaves about in my room, or it's not doing something, I'm a little disappointed, and I'm burning watts inefficiently, and it's not necessary. So that's what I mean by I'm not able to hook a controller up to this, because if I was to hook a controller up on it, the controller would cut power to it, and then upon needing power again, this thing would just reboot as if I just freshly plugged it in and draw less than a watt again. So that tells me that, you know, some people this might work. I can make this work for me, but some people are just going to be like, well, what I need to do is go get an analog. There's a difference between digital and analog. So if this were an analog dehumidifier and I was able to just rotate a dial, and no matter what, every time the power went out, this thing would reboot itself into those settings because it's set there and it will never change. That would allow me to hook a control module up to this, either a thermostat thermometer control module, or a hygrometer, you know, meter in this case. So I would want to set a specific setting. I'm not going to actually use this device for dehumidification, okay? And if I was, I would still be a little upset that it's always consuming 60 watts, even though it's not dehumidification and it's not dehumidifying the room. So it's a little disappointing that the fan always stays running. And that's things to think about when you're purchasing and utilizing gear in your room. Now, over time, that 70 watts adds up, and other pieces of equipment in your room are adding up to what you could be possibly doing. Instead of wasting electricity, you could run another bulb by getting analog equipment, or if you know how to finagle things and make this work for you, you could possibly do that if you know how to do it, and you will always, it will turn off for you. The fan will turn off under certain circumstances. So, yes. But in this case it doesn't, and it always draws power when it's on. See, and it even resets the humidity too. I had it at 70, and it lost power and went back to 50. It's a little disappointing. So, and here we are at 60 watts again. Now I want to show everybody else something else, because this is really going to blow some minds right here. Most people would say, I got this dehumidifier or whatever you're going to use it for, and they go, okay, well, there's a low and a high. A lot of people look at that and they're like, well, if I keep it on low, I'm using half of the electricity that this thing is pulling, and high would be like full, you know, just balls to the wall, don't give a fuck. Well, it's also Energy Star rated. Let me show you how full of shit this is too. Okay, so we're at 60 watts with just the compressor fan. The fan is to cool off the compressor when it's running. When the compressor is on, and this is dehumidifying the room, the fan should come on and cool the compressor as well. But the fan is always on, whether the compressor is on or not. So now that we have kicked the unit on, I'm going to show you how many watts this thing consumes on low and high. You guys are going to be shocked. So let's just stare at this and let it idle, and warm up to its normal running mode. Well, it's normal up, you know, let's let it stabilize. For those of you that aren't interested in saving electricity for efficiency and, you know, cost effectiveness, you don't watch this video. It's not dedicated to it, bro. It's dedicated towards efficiency and equipment and how to utilize equipment better. So you can see that it's stabilized at 471 watts, 472. Okay, and it's on low. Now let's turn this thing on high, and you're gonna hear the decibels go up too at the same time. Okay. Now, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, that's about a 50% increase in decibels. I don't have a decibel meter with me, so I can't tell you. Oh wow, we're saving 8 watts running it on low. Now let me tell you what happened when we switched over from low to high. The compressor, the AC compressor in this thing, from low to high, switching it over to high, didn't force, and it doesn't force the compressor in this thing to work harder than it was already working at low. Okay? All high mode did was allow you to run. I don't know why this thing just shut off. That's fucking crazy weird. Maybe I jarred something around here. Or breathing into this, I don't know. But what it did is it increased the fan speed to cool off the compressor motor. That's all it did. So the fan at the same time pulls, instead of pulling a lower volume of air through this, okay, it's pulling more air through this, and at the same time cooling off the compressor motor. That one fan in the back, the squirrel cage fan in the back, is built to do two things at once, two birds with one stone. To pull air through here, dehumidify it towards the drain pan, and cool the compressor motor in the back. Now, I don't have this unit opened up to fully show you what that looks like. It's not really necessary, but let's go down to low, see if the compressor kicks back on. Okay, well, I'm lying. What just happened was, this is the first time I've actually plugged this thing in. What just happened was that the fan has a delay. So when the compressor goes off, the fan continues running for X amount of minutes or X amount until the temperature comes down. It may have an integrated like control thermometer in the back, and shuts the fan off once the compressor has cooled off enough to turn the fan off. So again, we are at 67 watts on high. Now, I don't plan on using this piece of equipment for dehumidification. So pulling air through here does not have anything to do with what I intend to do with this unit. So we're going to switch the unit to low, and we're always going to keep this unit on low. for two reasons. It saves 10 watts, which I really don't give a shit about, because 10 watts is not really that much between high and low. But what it does do is saves 50% on the decibels. As you can tell, this thing is much more quieter on low. In a minute here, the compressor should kick on because I'm asking for a low humidity, the lowest, 35, which I don't know, maybe it's 30%, 35, 40, so 5% increments. So I'm assuming low is just 30%, or either that or always on. I'm not too sure yet. Well, figure I'll continue playing with it and see where the best range of efficiency is for this specific device. There you go. The fan warmed up, the device powered on the compressor, and now we are back at 500 watts. When this device is on, it's roughly 490 watts. Stabilized at 480 watts on low because that's where I intend to keep it, is low. Because I'm not looking to dehumidify the room, pulling more air through this grill. I plan to use this unit for something special for you guys, but before altering this piece of equipment for that application, I wanted to show you guys the benefits of having a kilowatt P3 meter. They're so cheap, there's no reason not to have a piece of equipment like this. It's 15 bucks. Amazon, eBay, they're $15. You can't go wrong. Just get one. I don't know if I told you guys this already or not, but on installing my AC, the motor, or not the motor, but the fan, never shut off. It always stood running, okay, oscillating air through the room. So basically, not only was it an AC, it was an oscillating fan too. So while the AC was on, it would always continue to power the fan. Now what that allowed me to do, this unit allowed me to do, is note how much energy the fan without the compressor on was constantly pulling. And you, to my surprise, it was 300 watts constantly. Whether the AC compressor was on or not, it was always drawing 300 watts. So I was able to install a controller and finagle some stuff around and cut that out. So now, if the AC compressor is not on, the device is off. Does that make sense? So if it isn't cooling the room, doing its job, what I want it to do is cool the room, not circulate air in the room. I want it to cool the room. If it's not cooling the room, then the device is not working. It's not pulling any electricity. And that's what you want. And that's what you get when you use a kilowatt P3 meter. You identify, learn the way your equipment works. It gives you a better idea on how to set it up in your room. Now, I'm getting a little technical here, but there's a reason why my power bill is always under 120 bucks. It's because, I look to save energy where I can, and I do just that. And it's always around the house, Coffee makers always plugged in. Coffee makers are like 1500 watts, dude. So if you guys have like a Keurig, I have a Keurig coffee maker. If the Keurig is always on, it's always keeping a fucking pot of water hot, and it's like in between 800 and 1500 watts, depending on how fast you set the coffee maker to do that. Now, I know to turn the goddamn thing off when I'm not making multiple cups of coffee. Most people leave it plugged in half the day before they go to work or when they come home, constantly drawing 1,000 watts, just to keep water warm. So that's what I mean. This device allows you to know where to save money in your home, around your entertainment system, fans around the house, any kind of oscillating, like, you know, fan that just circulates air in the room, generally pulls in between 30 and 60 watts. So, you know, oscillating fans, they don't really pull all that much energy, but it's devices like this that are key to saving money, is knowing how they operate. That allows you to set it up better in your grow and save money when your electricity bill comes in play. So get one. I'm not selling these things to you guys. It's not what I'm trying to do. I have one, I use it, and I'm just trying to pass the buck to you guys, and hopefully somebody else out there can understand where I'm coming from with this and save a little bit of money at the same time. So compressor is running, we're on low, we're stabilized at 490 watts, you know, give or take fluctuation, 60 hertz, 5.18 amps, which if you are pulling 12 amps with your lights already, you can't hook this up on, this is what this, another thing it does, amperage. You could not run this if you were already pulling 12 amps with your lights. You would be at 17 amps. You would be 2 amps over the max. And hitting 15 amps is getting really close to borderline as well. So make sure you guys run, I don't know. You know, I know the wiring in my house. It's 12 gauge, and it's three wire, and it also has 20 amp breakers. The receptacle may be 15 amps, but the code here for the electrical in the wall is 20 amps with 20 amp breakers, even though it's a 15 amp receptacle. I could hook a 20 amp receptacle up to it, but that 5 amps is fail-safe. It's just fail-safe. You know, you want to be safe. You don't want to be pulling too much electricity and constantly pop breakers and have the chance of starting fire. So you would know that you would have to run an extension cord to another receptacle and power the device that way. So know your shit, guys. Get used to your equipment, get familiar with it and how it works and operates. And the compressor is still on. That's why we're still drawing 5 amps, 490 watts, 122 volts, roughly 60 hertz. So, but what I'm concerned about the most is the electricity consumption and the amperage. So keep it safe. I hope everybody out there can save money and learn how to use their equipment more efficiently. To those guys out there, if you guys don't don't watch this video, you know, if you don't like the idea of saving money in your grow, you know, don't say anything dumb. But once again, thanks again to all the subscribers and the viewers out there. You guys are a blast. I love working with you guys, and I love you know, networking with you guys too. You know, it's always fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing this these videos for everybody, and because you know, I'm just happy that more people are getting success out there, and that's what it's all about, sharing the right information without making it difficult. So, and also saving money at the same time. So thank you. God bless everybody out there. From Hygro Hybrid, keep it scrogged, baby. Peace out.